What's the one thing that could really be problematic for the Gators coming into this game? Stetson Bennett, Georgia's defense, the offensive line at Georgia. The number one thing that the Gators are struggling on, and Oregon's really bad at this too, but it's hard to be worse than Florida. They are second to last in third down defense in terms of just straight up getting off the field. They don't about 53% of the time. 53% of the time. Like, that is not good. And, 51 times out of 97, the Florida Gators have permitted a conversion on third down. I don't know if that's third and long. Usually that's third and short, when you're that good at it. Like, for instance, Georgia's 13th in the country. They're hovering around 30%. So fewer than 1 in 3, Georgia lets you get off the field. Um, I think that this is like a real problem. This isn't some sort of problem, and it's getting worse. Pat Dooley, who wrote for years in the Gainesville paper, is now covering the Gators. I don't know how, but for USA Today. So Pat writes, by now you've all heard the statistics about how Florida ranks in the last in the entire country. That was coming into the weekend in third down defense, and it's not like it's getting better. Get to listen to this. In the last two games against Missouri and LSU, the Gators have allowed 17 third down conversions in 29 times. That's a conversion, y'all, of 59%. 59%. I mean, Georgia will score 60 if they let them do that. And I mean, I don't really know how hyperbolic it is to say that. It's not a lot of hyperbole. You got to get off the field. It's not going to work. And I think that is a really troubling line for the Gators for all this discussion of third and Grantham. I mean, Todd's been gone for like 10 games now, and then the players may not have changed, but that means to me, it means you're probably not doing real great on first and second down. And third down is like 3rd and 3 or fewer, because you can't be that bad on defense. This is a shot from last year's game with Nolan taking the ball from Anthony Richardson and then Nolan picking the ball off. He had a huge game, Savannah native Nolan Smith last year. I'm combining names. But this is a big game for the Dogs. Everybody knows that. You can pick up DAWGSTRUCTION down below. If you email me when you grab the link below to order the book, you can get this shirt. You just need to email me, dean@dogpost.com, and let me know what shirt size you've got. This is, Florida, there's a lot of frustration, I know, on the Florida side of things. Sometimes I read the message boards, sometimes not, because I have my own message board to deal with and monitor. But I just, you can't be that bad and really expect for there to be good outcomes. Missouri's offense is okay. LSU's has certainly started to come alive. Georgia has one of the top offenses in the country. And, it's going to take, to me, a significant turnover game for the Gators to win this game. And we've seen that from Georgia already. We've already seen a turnover game, and they survived it on the road. They won't even be on the road here. Total offense, Georgia is number 2 in the country behind only Tennessee. And, there's something to be said for that. I mean, the Gators themselves have really, they're better than they've been, I think, offensively, but it's not so great that it's something to be uber concerned about. Georgia, what's happening right now in Athens with this offense is pretty impressive. When you're number 2 in the country in total offense, your scoring offense is number 8 in the country, averaging 42 points a game. I don't see Florida holding the Dogs down, not when they're allowing third down conversions the way that they are. But just even more than that, Florida is permitting 28 points a game. That's 4 touchdowns just to everybody, whoever it is. I mean, Eastern Washington scored, I think, 17 on the Gators. So Auburn was averaging 28, and Georgia scored 42 on them like it was nothing. So that was about 3/4 of a game, really before Georgia, or a quarter of the game was gone before Georgia really got started. So I think you couple that with this third down thing. So Florida's got a disruptive a front four. They have a really good linebacker in Miller, but they are clearly just allowing too much to go the other team's way. Some people would tell you that it's the Florida secondary, but when you look at, I mean, Florida's 90th in the country in secondary. I mean, excuse me, in passing, they're averaging 8 yards a reception, which is permitting 8 yards a reception. That's not good either. I mean, that's really in the bottom. That's even lower than what they're sort of allowing overall. So if you throw it on them, you have a fair amount of success. Um, it's going to be tough for Florida to win this game. It's going to be tough for Florida to win this game. There's reasons why, and a lot of it is the matchup of them with their offensive side, excuse me, Georgia's offensive side of the ball against the Gators defense. It's not really where you want to be this year. I mean, Florida played okay on the road against Tennessee. They played pretty well against Utah, but allowing 28 points to South Florida, allowing, I mean, this is Georgia allowed more than this. It was 17 against Missouri, but it's the 45 against LSU, the 28 against South Florida. I don't think giving up 38 to the Vols is the end of the world, but you know, it's not been super impressive. Maybe the statistics are skewed and Tennessee just really put up a bunch of numbers on them, or maybe this or maybe that. But usually 7 or 8 games in a year, you're just not great, and the statistics are what they are. And there's very few things. Fumbles, Florida's not lost a fumble this season. But when you step back and you say, okay, what really is troublesome? To me, it's that they are not getting off the field on third down. And it's not completely dissimilar from allowing more outs in baseball than you should. Um, you got to get off the field. You cannot give Georgia four downs, essentially five, but let's just say four, offensive downs to get 10 yards. They're gonna do it, that's a bad analogy. You got to get off the field on third down. I mean, if you're not gonna do that, then you're not going to win. I mean, think about the Clemson game last week. It was third and forever. The Syracuse player essentially, gave Clemson life in that game. They would have been down 11 late in the game, either in the fourth or heading into the fourth, whatever it was. And you knock the backup quarterback out, and it's a first down. Well, Florida is doing that without the personal foul. They're just the other team's just converting on them. And that is demoralizing, It's just not something you want on the defensive side of the ball. It is not good. It is not good at all. And they're also, unfortunately, um, not the Florida has got problems in a lot of different places. Um, you know, their their defense is a concern. The quarterback, I mean, I think if he plays exceptionally well, he will have it. The Gators will have a chance in this game. I don't think they'll win, but they'll have a chance in this game. I mean, when you look at, and this is on Monday, okay? I'm recording this Monday in the afternoon, so the lines can shift a little bit. But excuse me, this line is at 20 plus for a reason. I mean, Florida. Well, there's a lot of schools named Florida. Florida, it's it's three scores and a little bit is what Las Vegas feels like. I mean, the line got out to 23, 23 and a half, and it kind of like people were like, wait a second now. So they dropped it back down to 22. Um, I just know that Georgia's lethal. When they get going, they're lethal. And you got to get off the field, man. And I just don't know. That doesn't that that to me looks really problematic. For the Dogs, third down conversion on offense, they lead the league. They lead the SEC in that. That's something that Georgia's very good at, just generally speaking. They're ninth in the country. They convert on 52%. The Gators are allowing 50%. To me, that means you shift that number closer to 60-ish, the way that Florida's been playing lately. And, if you're saying if you get to third down, that's 60% of the time that you're going to convert, that's going to make for a long hangover for the Gators after the cocktail party.